sometimes I might encounter a watch that is more on the creative side rather than the functional side. And being an engineering mindset, that's a little bit frustrating for me. But also being a professional photographer for the past 30 years, I've learned to admire the beauty, the creativity, and the design work of something that's been created from the bottom up. And coming out of Paris, I've got a watch here that on first glance, it's creative. You look at it, that's very romantic, intriguing, it's stylistic, and it comes alive in different lighting scenarios. Now the watch is not perfect, it's absolutely far from perfect. It's absolutely frustrating sometimes to read the time on this. But I must say I like what the owner, Nicholas, has done with this watch. Because being a designer himself, he's put a lot of thought into this. Now there are some elements on this watch that might look familiar to you. For argument's sake, the circular handset. There's a watch that comes out of Russia, St. Petersburg, the Raketa Copernicus, and that watch there featured circular handset for the hour and the minute, albeit the second hand was straight. But what I've got in my hand here is a much more refined, much more beautiful, much more creative and stylistic watch. And putting the handset aside, the whole thing is designed in such a way which causes light play and causes you to look at this watch and just enjoy it. Now I know that we can't reinvent the wheel, the watch has already been done, but when a creative artist, when a designer puts his take on something, it gets my attention. The first thing that got my attention on this watch, believe it or not, is not the dial, but the bracelet. The way that it integrates into the actual lugs is beautiful. The light play is stunning. It's got a finesse about it, a beauty about it, and I really had to get this in the steel to check it out for myself on the channel. Now you saw the pop-up. This video is sponsored by Burbelé. The watch has been sent out to the channel, I don't have to send it back. However, as always, anyone who sends any product into this channel has zero input into the review content. I'll tell you what I think, good, bad, or indifferent. Now I have seen much more expensive watches than this that aren't as legible as this. So I'm able to forgive certain things of this watch. And I spoke about the integration of that bracelet into those lugs. Let me tell you about the integration of the lugs into the case. You see, this is not a monoblock case, this is not one piece. There's multiple levels to this design. The way that these lugs are made to look like they integrate into this case, again, is a wonderful feat. You've got a proper stainless steel sandwich dial with vertical brushing and the light play, as you can see in certain lighting situations. You can't see it, it comes alive. It's got that wonderful sheen to it, it matches the case, very clean, very modernist, but also coming from Paris, very creative. You see, for me, I've been to Paris and I've enjoyed the culture, the people, and this thing here reminds me of me sitting down at a coffee shop, enjoying a coffee and just admiring the day and letting the day bring what it may. It's just a stylistic, creative watch, and for me, that's pretty cool. Now, if I turn my attention to the specifications of this watch, the numbers are actually very good. Coming in under 39mm with a 10.7mm height, the wearability of this watch is fantastic. The crown comes in at 5.8mm, it's signed, it's a push-pull crown. The watch features your standard 30 meters of water resistance and the total weight on this bracelet comes in at 93 grams. And to me on the wrist, this is screaming creativity. You've got that massive circle going around slowly, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour. The very small circle is the hour hand showing us it's just after 7, and the middle circle is telling us that it's almost 20 past. So you can read the time, but it just takes a bit more effort. Now the lack of minute markers means that you can't set an accurate time. But then again, this is not designed to be one of those watches. And I did mention that I've seen much more expensive watches that feature neither minute tracks nor are as legible as this. So this is doing pretty good. Now the height of this watch coming in at 10.7mm is phenomenal. It's really nice and comfortable, and that bracelet, as you can see, 20mm, it tapers all the way down to 16.8 at that clasp. A very nice experience. So overall, design, features, comfort, wearability, it's a very classy looking piece. Some people are going to absolutely hate this, I get it. And some people are going to say, yeah, I appreciate what this guy's done. So whatever camp you're in, it's irrelevant. The fact that someone's gone and tried to design something different, especially with that integrated bracelet and lugs, I think it looks fantastic. Sometimes they're hidden things in a watch. It's a little finesse details that make a watch a little bit more comfortable and special. And with this bracelet, as you can see, the tongue slides in, you've got a little snap, secures it in place. It's neat, it's clean, and there's a comfortable experience. And whilst we're on the back, if you look at the case back of this watch, as you can see, it's an exhibition case back featuring that workhorse, the Miyota 9015. 28,800 vibrations per hour, roughly 42 hours power reserve, hacking hand winding, as well as a date. The slight double dome sapphire crystal on this seems to be doing a very good job. The anti-reflective coating is good, and the view is crystal clear. Excuse the pun. Lastly, if we have a look at the lume on the watch, you'll notice there is none. And that's quite normal with the dressy sort of a looking watch, no problems there. Now some people might find the price a little bit expensive. The watch comes in at $950 in this configuration. There are different colorways. I think for Miyota that's a little bit expensive, and you're probably paying more for the design elements rather than the hardware itself. It would have been nice to have a Swiss Solida in here, albeit nothing wrong with the Miyota. You get a nice thin profile and a workhorse to boot. Now what are the negatives and positives of this watch? First negative, it does get a little bit of getting used to read that time. Initially you're looking at it, it's frustrating for me. Being an engineering mindset, it is frustrating, but it also forces you to slow down. Secondly, the bracelet, as beautiful as it is, after several hours, it can get a little bit uncomfortable on the wrist, so bear that in mind. Next negative, that date, it is very small. I just would have preferred another circle on that dial, just to keep it a little bit more minimalist. The lack of minute markers on this watch, some might find it frustrating setting the time accurately, but again, I don't think this is a watch that's designed to be timing the Olympics or 100-meter dashes. It's more just a laid back, chill out, creative, artistic piece. And last negative, again, like I said, the price. Now putting all of that aside, what are the positives of this watch? Well, it is a watch that makes you slow down. Enjoy that coffee and croissant, like I said. Admiring the views, the people, the locals. It's got that nostalgia and that feel about it. It's a very artsy-fartsy piece. I like the fact that the bracelet is also quick release for quick strap changes. And I think the overall look and design, it's different. At least someone's trying something different and creative. And to me, that gets higher marks than just doing an homage of something, copying something straight out and saying, here, look what we've got to offer. So to my eyes, this watch is designed more towards beauty and creativity over function. It's a good thing for some, it's a bad thing for others. Whatever camp you happen to be on, it's up to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this watch. I encourage you guys to check out their website because there are quite a few different colorways and models from this designer. I found this stainless steel version very interesting. Like I said, I want to get on the channel. Glad I got a chance to have a look at it. Not without its flaws, but then again, no watch is. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.